Hello, Facebook world, and everyone that watches this later. I hope you're all doing well. I'm on my morning walk, which I really enjoy. And as I walk, I think about my life. I think about my journey. I think about everything that I've done up to now. And I've done a lot of things, and a lot of things I'm proud of, a lot of things that have been fun. At the same time, my story's funny in that I'm excited about things and I do them wholeheartedly and I get into them 100%. And then usually it's at some point, I don't do them anymore. I consider myself a person that meets people's needs, or I evaluate and see what's needed in the world, and I try and I do my best to meet those needs. I'm a problem solver. I like solutions. I like action. I like challenge. That's probably, if there's three words to kind of define me, it's challenge, action, and results. That's me. It's pretty much how I've lived most of my life. So when after I finished junior high and I got into Catholicism, I'm going to kind of go through some religious stuff, and then it kind of gets into sexuality at some point, if you don't mind listening to my story. So I started off proselytizing for the Roman Catholic religion. I would tell my little neighbor friends when I was 14, 15, hey, pray the rosary. They're the Lutheran girls in the neighborhood. I used to tell them how religion was so important, and my faith was so important to me. And so from early on, I realized that kids didn't connect with God, and I was out there talking to them about it. And then I asked questions, and I went into evangelicalism when I was 15, and of course went into a Bible church that was highly evangelistic, and I was out in the streets sharing my faith with people. Downtown Chicago, go Cubs, that was me, that was high school. And I decided I was going to go to Bible school and become a missionary. Because again, I saw this great need in the world that people needed to know about God. And at the time it was my God, right? It was the God that I believed in, and it was the God that I thought had changed my life. So, why not tell everybody? And when you're 16, 17, that's just kind of what you do. It's how you think. You think pretty limited, have limited thought about the world. So I did 2 years in a missionary degree at Bible school. And then at some point I started realizing that for me what was more important than missionary. It was important, I wanted to share my faith, but it was more about understanding why, right? So I changed my degree midway in college to historical theology, and then finished a master's degree in theology and focused on church history, because I really wanted to understand how did we get to where we get to. My mind started to open. I didn't want to be a missionary that went off into the world and told people about a faith that I really didn't know enough about, and I wanted to understand how we got to where we were. So I finished my master's and then moved on to Mexico, and that was in part of my personal journey of getting back to my roots, went back to where I was born and where my parents met and where they had me, right? So went to Monterrey, Mexico, and I taught English, because what else could I do in Mexico to make money? It was, the need there was English, and so I taught English, and as a native speaker, that was helpful. After living there, I moved to Houston, Texas, and I found the most amazing job I'd ever had. And as you start to see, my story kind of continues with this missionary mindset. I became a corporate chaplain with Marketplace Chaplains. It was amazing, Marketplace Ministries. I love that job. I got to go into, Budweiser and CC's Pizza and petrochemical plants and go and talk to people as a friend. It wasn't about evangelism, and if we couldn't talk about God, but we were just befriending them. And that, I think, is part of how I got to where I am right now, especially that one-on-one, that connection with people. Going into Budweiser, that's really cool. It's the Budweiser plant, or not plant, but the storage unit there on Galveston Island, and going and talking to them just as a friend, being real. And I was their chaplain, right? And it was amazing. I knew everyone's name and all that stuff. So that was, again, me growing into this relationship that I had with people. I got pregnant, and I moved to San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio, where I'm here now. And for the next 5 years, 6 years of having babies, I found myself. I found that inner strength that I didn't know I had. I found that intuition. A mother's intuition for me was really powerful. I began to do things that were different than everyone else, and that helped build my voice. It helped me find strength to be different and to be a minority. And I was advocating for home birth, for breastfeeding, and I led classes around nonviolent communication. Again, me learning how to communicate in the world, because I'm kind of a strong, abrasive person sometimes, so that was important for me. And then from there, for like 4 years, I was the adult Sunday school facilitator. So like I had these opportunities to do group work and to be an advocate, to be strong in the community. I taught classes on traditional foods, again, because I saw there was a need that was missing. People didn't know how to make meals, and I learned it. I learned it so that I could teach it. And that was important for me to learn that everything that I learned, I taught it. I shared it, because that was important for me to continue like moving that energy or moving that information out there into the world. And at some point, the sex talk, those of you who've been waiting for this one, I realized I wasn't happy with my sex life. I wasn't happy with my own sexuality. I wasn't happy with how I had experienced my body. I've been working on the spiritual and working on the physical and working on the emotional. Like that was huge, that was big. I did all of those things. But I hadn't really worked on my sex, like my sexuality, that lower chakra, the root chakra and the sacral chakra. Those hadn't been developed. And I was disappointed, and I'd had yeast infections all the time. Like it just was mad at me, and I was kind of mad at it. Like I was expecting things to work, and it just didn't work like I wanted. So I decided to explore my sexuality, and I gave myself a whole month where I would masturbate every day. I didn't even know what was going to happen. I thought, well, if anyone's responsible for it, it's me, no one else. I need to take care of myself. So I started this process where I was masturbating every day, or at least giving myself loving touch, something every day. And that exploded who I am, exploded everything about me. I saw strength that I didn't know I had. I saw like I can know my body in new ways. And I got scared too, because I realized I'm bisexual. Things started coming to me. I started to understand our body stores so much information that we don't even know. And when we begin to touch and unlock it, we realize, oh my gosh, there's information, there's knowledge here that I haven't tapped into. And that's what happened to me, especially when you open something like sexuality. It's so powerful. So when you open it up, man, it's like, there's stories there that I hope that we all can learn about ourselves. So that happened. And right away I got connected with Betty Dotson and Carlin Ross in New York City and did body sex and had that experience with other women doing this work. And then I wanted to get certified, and I did. And then I thought, how do I bring this to San Antonio? How do I help other women to do this, inner sexuality work? And then the bigger picture, even bigger than all that, was how do I open up my community in general? Like I've done this before. I've done it around, like natural living and natural parenting. I've done it even, before, like in faith and religion. Like I did this. I'm a missionary. I've done this work. I know how to do it. So how do I do this now? Like how do I make sexuality a thing that we're comfortable talking about? So I created San Antonio Embracing Sexuality this past January. And that meetup group has been amazing. I had so much success I didn't even realize. People have been waiting for this group to start so people could start talking about their own sexuality, their own stories, just kind of like what I did. I provided that for the world, at least not for the world. I think it's for the world, but for my city. And so then it goes back to now, after that, after doing all this group stuff, I thought, okay, now how do I get back to one-on-one? I've never done that exactly. And I went to a class Dr. Susan Kay gave this past summer. Actually, I was there with her, presenting with her. And she was talking about sex over 50. And I didn't have any idea what she was going to say. I was kind of curious. Like, if I ever taught this class, what would I say? And I didn't, I had no clue because I'm not over 50 yet. And she talked about touch. I was shocked. So something so simple. And the importance of touch. So sex over 50 is, let's forget about performance, and let's forget about pressure, and let's forget about all the stuff that when you're young, you're really good at. You're really good at performing, right? And like feeling really good about your sex. But like it's all going back to touch. It's going back to like when we were kids kind of thing. And how innocent it was. And how special it can be just to be held and touched by someone else. So something clicked in me, and I realized I needed to be that person talking about touch as well. So sorry. I won't let them show up in my video. I'm on Facebook Live. Sorry, guys.
You're all good.
So I went to Sex Teak summer camp again this summer. I had, fun experience, again, thinking through like, where am I going? What do I want to do? And then from there, I came home. I have friends who are Cuddlists. They're doing it in Michigan. They're doing it in Connecticut. And I looked at the website, just thought, I'm curious what this is about. Like, how much is the training? And I went and it was like $80. I was like, what? That's it? $80? Because I know to become a cuddle party facilitator, it's over $1,000. So I thought, I can't afford that. And I did the training, and I did it really pretty quickly because I was really familiar with the concepts. And that's it. Like, so here I am, a Cuddlist. I'm cuddling people one-on-one, cuddling professional. And then it hit me one day during a cuddling session. I thought, remember, Janet, when you wanted to be a missionary? And I thought, I am a missionary. Sorry. Didn't expect this to happen. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work nobody wants to do. People are scared to do. I'm doing, I'll tell you a little bit about my whole missionary idea. I was going to go to an Islamic country. I was going to go and be with, with the veil and the burqa. I was going to go in there. I was going to risk my life. I was willing to die. Sharing about Jesus. I was willing to do that. That was me. I was looking into it. I was going to do like bivocational missionary stuff. I was going to go and willing to risk it all because of my faith. And then I'm here in my own town and I realize that there's so much brokenness that people aren't experiencing touch. They're lost in their own sexuality. They're repressed. There's just so much heartache and brokenness around our bodies. And I'm like, I don't have to go anywhere. People need it here. And it's not in the spiritual. When I'm holding somebody, it's everything. Like, there's nothing more holistic. It's spiritual, it's physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's intellectual. Like, we're doing all of it. It's all there. And you can't help but, like, when you hold someone, that's all gonna happen. Like, yeah, it's deep. And so if anything, I'm a missionary right now. I'm doing it one by one, talking to people and helping them reconnect with who they are. I don't know any kind of better missionary word than that. So, anyway, it's powerful. I hope that you find powerful work to do in your world. I hope that whatever you do, you find a way that it changes the world. And I knew I was going to do big things, and who knows what's coming next, right? Like, this is just the beginning. But I know that my work is really important and valuable, and I love it. So, and I have lots more years to go. So anyway, thank you everybody. If you want to find me, my website is janettrevino.com. I have more videos talking more about cuddling in particular. And of course, Cuddlist.com is the organization I work with, and you can find other Cuddlists in your area in case you're watching outside of San Antonio, Texas. Love you all. Take care.